Hey y'all, it's your little mix girl Selena from the South, and today I have with y'all, well, it's a video that a lot of my friends has asked for that go to my school because they were just curious or they were wondering, and I finally had the time to actually sit down and talk about this. So I'm going to start this off with something that I've been reading, and I've been reading this book called The Confident Woman Devotional. It's a 365 daily inspirational book. Millions of people destroy their lives by feeling guilty about something that is in the past and they cannot do anything about it. When God forgives our sins, He also removes the guilt. But just as much as we receive His forgiveness, we must also receive freedom from guilt and not let the emotion of guilt control us. If God says we are forgiven and pronounced not guilty, we should believe His word more than we feel. We frequently hear people say, I will feel guilty about that for the rest of my life. I've heard people say, I will never get over what I've done. God's word says that when He forgives us, He forgets the offense. And there is no more penalty for sin when there is complete remission of it. Hebrews 10:17-18. Why decide that you feel guilty the rest of your life when God has provided a way for you to live free from the guilt? Don't let your past failures leave you hopeless about your future success. Your future has no room in it for the failures of the past. So I felt like that was so ironic that I literally, because this book is a 365 daily devotional, and today is January 21st. Yes, it's January 21st, and this one is just completely about what I'm about to talk about. So I held a lot of guilt in for so long of what happened to me last year. I posted about how I was sexually assaulted, and it was hard, it was difficult, but you know, life is all about obstacles, and now I'm just going to share with you the aftermath of that, like things like I had to go through, things that changed in school, things that changed at home, and things that just generally changed in my life altogether. At home, what changed was I used to always, because I get hot really easily, like right now, like I'm already hot, like I'm burning up. I don't know why, but I just naturally just really get hot. So I tend to just wear like my leggings and some shorts or something like that around the house with a sports bra. Well, I slowly stopped doing that, and from like literally neck down, I was always covered. Like I did not want to be around any mouse. And even though it was around my family, because, you know, I have 3 brothers and I have my dad. You know, they are not going to do that to me, or they're not going to, you know, do what Seth did. I still was just not comfortable. I couldn't handle watching movies that involved rape. Or anytime like it would mention rape, I would turn my head or I would look down and I would just automatically think like, wow, like I know the victim in that movie, what they're feeling, because I felt that in real life. There is a lot of movies out there that can be based on true stories and true like events, and that is something that happens. So when I felt that, like I really did feel that pain, and I just stopped watching that. I couldn't handle it. Or anytime it would mention on the news, I would just be so mad to the point like I would think of the, you know, the rapist and be like, I want to hurt him. Like, I seriously want to hurt him. And, like I said before in previous videos, it's not just girls that it happens to. And it also happens to boys. But, of course, my case, like, it was a boy that did it to me. So I was just like, I want to hurt him. And I wasn't necessarily talking about Seth. So I was just talking in general. Like, it just makes me so sick and just tears me up inside. I slowly started isolating myself, and then when I did isolate myself, it was around, okay, so this happened September, the event took place in September, October, November, okay, so October is when the stuff at home started changing. In October, and then beginning of November, I could not find the energy to get out of my bed. So that's also another reason why, like, I'm filming on a bed, because I spent more of my junior year on a bed, in a bedroom, completely dark. I shut everybody out, and as soon as I stepped through that door, I was this person that was so depressed. And I isolated myself to the point, like, I shouldn't admit this, but it's the truth, my hygiene wasn't the best. Like, I wouldn't get out of bed, so there was no point of me doing anything. And then not only that, I slowly didn't eat, and I lost a lot of weight. So when I say, like, I slowly stopped eating, your girl loves to eat. I love to eat. So my jawline right here is very defined, I would say, and it was so much more noticeable when I did lose weight because, like, all you could literally see is my bones because I was losing so much weight. And I weighed for the longest, like, I've always been little my entire life, but when I really hit this rock bottom, when I hit this depression, it showed really, like, a lot. The time I would get out is if I was hungry or if I had to go to the bathroom, you know, take some showers or whatever. And the only other time I would come out is if my friends asked me, hey, Selena, do you want to go hang out? So I would go get ready like a normal day, put on that smile on my face, and head out the door. I started having panic attacks. I had a panic attack in my classroom. It was a silent panic attack, so nobody really knew what it was. Like, you could just look at me and I would look normal. I didn't know what was happening at first because I didn't know I was having them, but then it showed more and more and more that I started having panic attacks. There was this one day I was in my coach's room, and he was also my advisory teacher at the time. So I was in there, and not a lot of people knew about what happened to me, and not a lot of people knew what I was suffering from. The night before, I didn't get a lot of sleep because I was having a nightmare. So I put the headphones in, I was listening to my music to calm me down, and I was just sitting there. And a student came up to me, and she noticed that I was in the back. I am not that student that sits in the back. I'm that student that's up front and personal with you, and I'm just like, hey teacher, like, let's learn something. I'm always that student to sit up front. Like, I don't like to sit in the back, but it depends. And I sit in the back now, but anyway. So she comes back there and she was like, hey, are you okay? I was just like she heard me like mumble or whatever, because I just didn't want her to ask me anything. And honestly, I forgot the student that asked me, but if somebody in my advisor, shout out to you if you're watching this video. So she looked at Coach Chestnut and she was like, basically like, get Selena help. So Coach Chestnut comes down to me. I wasn't talking to him. He noticed that I was crying, like he could hear me. He calls my previous coach, but she just became a counselor that year, I think. Yeah, she just became a counselor that year. So she comes into the room and she gets me. But me at this time, I'm having a silent panic attack. My breathing is going in and out. I can't really breathe. I'm like trying to breathe, and I'm just crying so much that it's making it worse for my body. And it made me where I felt like paralyzed in a way that I couldn't get up. So as she was coming in telling me to get up, like I was trying to, but I couldn't. Like I wanted to, but I couldn't. And it was so embarrassing. Like this, I've had panic attacks, but they're so embarrassing because not a lot of people are acknowledge of what really happens when you have a panic attack. So as I was like having it, I just wanted it to stop. I just wanted to stop. I was trying to calm myself down, but it wasn't working. So she gets me, and she finally like kind of puts her arm around me and gets me up. And my legs just felt like they were shaking the entire time. And I was just sobbing. And then like when I realized that people were like looking at me, I, of course, was like sweating. I was panicking because I didn't want people to look at me. I just didn't want to be there. So I finally go to the counselor's office, and that was the end of that story. So many moments where I would just zone out, and I would be so in my thoughts that I would begin to have flashbacks, and they would hit me out of nowhere. So I was just like, oh crap, like I'm supposed to be in class learning something, and I'm over here having flashbacks about a day that can't be erased in my mind. A lot of aggression happened then. I started to feel so much guilt because I would ask myself, or I would tell myself, like, why couldn't I do this? Why didn't I fight back more? Why didn't I report it the day? So like so many questions would pop in my head, and I would just be so mad. And I still to this day have a lot of anger, but I've released a lot of anger also. Like I still do suffer sometimes from panic attacks as well. I still, like when I have anxiety, like many anxiety attacks also, I like start sweating and everything. Like I get really nervous, and from then to now, like I really have like calmed down. But yeah, whatever. I slowly made excuses to my mom why I couldn't go to school. I always told her like I felt sick. I Or I would just cry and I would just be like, I don't want to go. I don't want to face this. Like, I don't want people to see me. I don't even care. Let me just be a dropout. I would have people hit me up, asking me, texting me, or snapping me, and just like, hey, are you okay and stuff. And I would just get mad. I'd just be like, it's none of your business. Like, don't worry about it. I'm fine. Or I would just always say, like, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm just sad some days. But I wasn't a dropout. I went to homeschooling. Don't ask me about homeschooling. It was a complete fail. They just took our money, or took my parents' money. I didn't really start in anything like that, so I can't really give you a story time on homeschooling, because like I went for a month or two and it didn't help with anything, and none of my freaking credits transferred, so my senior year was completely screwed up because your girl had to do summer school to let me stop. I'm about to get so mad again, but it's okay because I got this. And now I'm done with all the classes, and this semester just ended, of course, so I'm finally done with all the classes from last year that I had to make up. I had to make up a half a semester from every class that I took last year, so I had to make up 7 classes. Stress, let me tell you. I would push everybody away that tried to help, and I didn't want to get help. Like, I didn't feel the need to get help. So that is when I started visiting hospitals, because I hit a spot in my life where I didn't care about my body. I stopped loving myself, and I stopped respecting my body. I became sexually active. When I became sexually active, I had to visit hospitals constantly to check if I had an STD or to see if I might be pregnant. And therapy, when I did finally decide to go to therapy, I learned that as a rape victim, we do it to regain control that was taken from us. But I felt so disappointed in myself because I let people just destroy me more, and I just destroyed myself more when I did that. I wasn't happy doing it, but I did it because, you know what? I was trying to get something back that was taken from me, but I couldn't. It doesn't matter how many people I sleep with, I won't get it back because it was already taken. How I'm going to get it back, and how I did get it back, is I started loving myself again. I'm sorry, I didn't even mean to cry. I was really trying to hold it back. Okay. Just sad to think and sickening to think, like, I was so hurt and I was so ashamed for so long about it. And that wasn't even the hardest part. The hardest part, honestly, were the rumors and how I defined myself. I've heard so many things. I heard things like, she's such a hoe. I heard she slept with da-da-da-da-da-da. She just needs to kill herself already. I heard from guys, you let him hit, why can't I? And then when I used to rant on social media and stuff, people would tell me, why can't you just shut up? You're always trying to preach or give a rant. And they also said, like, no one cares. But that wasn't that hurt the most. The one that probably hurt more than anything is 2 things, actually. She's a walking STD. And I heard she was raped. Yeah, that was actually true. I was raped. But I heard it as a rumor. And I can't express to y'all how hard it was. All day, every day, we can tell each other how we don't care what people think. But deep down, there's always that one little spot in your heart that you do care, like you do truly care. And to hear these things and to know that when I walked in the halls, I always felt like people were looking at me. And I don't trust people normally. And I just started like not hating people. I don't hate people because I know that nobody's perfect and I know that everybody's going through something. But I just hated the fact that I couldn't defend myself because I looked retarded trying to do it because I was doing it all the wrong ways. I was lashing out more than just knowing that I had to suck it up and just get on with my life because they don't really know what's going on. I saw Seth at practice for track, and he comes from a school where they don't have a track, so their school comes to our track in order to, practice. Well, one day, I guess he showed up, and I guess he's on the track team or whatever. Like I said, nobody really knows about what's happening. I didn't really tell anybody, and so I turn around, and immediately when I saw Seth standing right there, I turned back around, started bawling. And my coach noticed, so she came over to me. And earlier I mentioned Coach Chestnut. Coach Chestnut is such a fantastic guy. So he has a daughter that also does track, also coaches track. And so she's the one that noticed me. So she comes over and she's like, hey, are you okay? And I started stuttering because I was just like, that's him. And then she was like, what are you talking about? I said, that's him, that's him, that's him. And I just started repeating myself. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, and I finally got the freaking guts to spit it out. And I said, that's the guy that raped me. And she said, wait, what? What do you mean? Like, how is he still here and all that? I did go back out and I did practice because it was a couple months after, and I was just like, I can't let this ruin me. I have to get back out there. Like, I can't stop my life because of this one little thing. So I got back out there, and then there comes a track meet. My parents weren't completely healed from what happened to me, and I know my dad felt a huge responsibility, and he felt like it was his fault, and he felt guilty because he knew the person. That's another reason why I said in previous videos, like, I didn't want to tell him that was the person because I knew he knew him. Seth guy, like, shook my dad's hand before and everything. Like, my dad was his coach at a time. My dad wasn't completely healed from it. And he saw him one meet. And I guess while I was running a race, like, I was literally running a race, and I just got finished when all this stuff was happening in the bleachers, and Seth's friends were, like, around him, talking to him. My dad, I guess, goes over there, says something to him, says that this is our side, you need to go to your side, and people were wondering why he was just attacking him, because there's other people from the other schools that were sitting with us, or sitting with our team. So yeah, I had a lot of questions asked to me, and the reason why I blew up on my dad, so let me just tell you. So I came back, I asked my mom, I said, where's dad? She was like, he's might be getting kicked out. I said, what do you mean he might be getting kicked out? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on right now? She was like, you know he's here. I said, I do know he's here. I do know. And she was just like, well, he's over there. As soon as I saw him, when I tell y'all, I just got done with this race, but my little self found some endurance or some energy out of nowhere and sprinted off the bleachers, ran to my dad, and was just like, why would you do that? And I started yelling. I was like, why would you do that? You know I don't want people to know about this. You know people are going to ask questions now. I said, why do you have to be so selfish? And I didn't realize that I was the one being selfish. Because not only did this affect me, but this has affected my parents. And this has affected my family. So I felt guilty for that also, for not realizing that I'm not the only one that this is happening to. So I need to chill out on that part. People were like, why did your dad talk to Seth and all that? And the entire time I was just thinking, why were y'all talking to him? I made a post on Snap one day saying that I think it's funny how y'all can talk about me, but y'all talk to the person that did this to me and y'all don't even know it. The hardest part was the rumors. Well, the second hardest part was actually seeing him. And the third was getting through it. And I hope this gives you an understanding of my depression, or depression in general. Like, it's no joke. It's something that should be taken very seriously. And I do recommend, if you're going through a depression or if you're a rape victim or something like that, get help. Honestly, like, I know how much you don't want to get help. I locked myself away from everybody to the point I couldn't even recognize myself at a time. I would look at myself and just be so disappointed. And there was plenty of nights where I thought, maybe it would be better that I'm not here. So not only was I depressed, there was times where I almost took my life because I didn't want to face with what was happening. I didn't want to hear what people had to say anymore. I just gave up. So I'm telling you now this, get help. We're meant to be in a communion with each other. We're meant to have a helping hand. Because you cannot go through life doing it yourself. I honestly believe that you cannot. I'm going to tell y'all this now. Not all my videos on here, not all my story times are going to be so depressing. Like, I have so many more ideas what I want to do. I'm so excited. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I loved creating it. But then I gotta get close to you. So, wait, I gotta say it again. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I love creating it. And I will see you later, alligator. Bye!